नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from chapter 2 of Bhagavad-Gita, which is entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. We are reading today chapter 2, verse number 6. So as we all know, Bhagavad-Gita means Song of God. Who sang the song? Krishna sang the song. To whom did he sing to? Arjuna. So why did Krishna speak this transcendental knowledge to Arjuna? What was the qualification that Arjuna possessed that to be a recipient of this knowledge? Was a friend and a devotee, and also one more qualification? Disciple, yes. Non-envious, yes. In 9th chapter also Krishna says, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha idam tu te guhyatamam pravakshyam yanasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajñātvā mokshase shubhat. Says, I shall impart to you this knowledge because you are never envious of me. That is a very, very important qualification to understand Bhagavad Gita. For others who are envious, Krishna will never reveal to them. Naham prakashah sarvasya yogamaya samavritah. So like that, Krishna is speaking this knowledge to Arjuna because he is a friend and a devotee. Where in 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Sayevayam maya tedya yogah proktah puratanaha bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand this transcendental mystery of this science. Bhagavad Gita is a mystery, cannot be understood by anyone and everyone. So only a devotee of Krishna, and Arjuna was a friend of Krishna and devotee of Krishna, and also he was never envious. So these were the qualifications that Arjuna became recipient of this knowledge. And so today we will be discussing from 2nd chapter, which is the contents of the Gita summarized. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur has summarized the 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita as the contents of the Gita summarized, because the entire Bhagavad Gita, what is discussed, is put everything in a nutshell in 2nd chapter. Like Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 parts. What are those 3 parts? Can anyone tell?
1 to 6, 7 to 13, 7 to 12 and 13 to 18.
Yes. The first 6 chapters are talking about what yoga? Karma yoga. And then middle 6 chapters talking about bhakti yoga. And last 6 chapters are talking about Jnana Yoga. So all these things are there in 2nd chapter. Like for example, Krishna talks about karma from 31 to 38 verses of 2nd chapter. And then Krishna gives Jnana from 20 to 30, like 11 to 30, all about Jnana. So like that, and also Krishna talks about Bhakti, also a little bit of Bhakti in 2nd chapter. So like that, the entire Bhagavad, all the contents of the Gita is summarized in 1 chapter, which is 2nd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is the most important chapter. Like when we go to school, first what do we learn? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, right? So like that, Krishna is beginning in the 2nd chapter, very important knowledge that everyone need to understand. It's a fundamental knowledge that we need to understand what is our true identity. There is no university in the world which teaches the science of the soul, which is the most important. So Krishna is giving, Krishna is going to give to Arjuna. Still we are in the 6th verse, but eventually Krishna is going to tell Arjuna about the Arjuna. In the first chapter, as we all know, Arjuna gives 5 reasons desiring not to fight. What are those 5 reasons that Arjuna gave desiring not to fight? Which was the first reason he gave?
He don't want to kill the relatives.
Yes. Everyone else? what was the reason? The first reason he gave was
Unwanted progeny.
compassion. Compassion. Arjuna, till he came to the, like in the beginning, Arjuna was very enthusiastic and to fight and all that, and he was all ready and everything. At one point in time, he requested Krishna to draw the chariot in such a way that he wanted to see who are all the people who are assembled there with whom he should fight. So Arjuna ordered Krishna, because Krishna is Partha Sarathi, he is the charioteer of Arjuna. So Arjuna is telling Krishna, please draw the senayor bhayor madhye ratham stapayamechyuta yavadetan niriksheham yodukaman avasthitān kairmaya saha yodavyam asmin rana samudhyame. So please draw the chariot in between the two armies so that I can see those who are present with whom I should contend in this great trial of arms. So because Arjuna requested Krishna, Krishna is a charioteer, he drew the chariot in such a way that first Arjuna will happen to see the great souls like Dronacharya, Krupacharya, all these great souls, maternal uncles. Said when he saw them, completely, like until then he was very enthusiastic, but after he saw them he thought, oh my God, these great souls, Dronacharya, he was my teacher, and Bhishma Dev is my great grandfather, like how can I fight with these people? Impossible for me. Krishna, I'm not going to fight. So desiring that, he gave 5 reasons he desiring not to fight. The very first reason he gave was compassion. He saw all the people assembled on the battlefield as they are their bodies. Of course, Arjuna is a liberated soul, but Krishna on purpose puts him in such a situation that he acts like one of us and asks this question, so that today we are sitting here who have so many doubts, who is going to clarify our doubts. So Arjuna is saying that the first reason he gives is compassion. I cannot kill these people, they are all great souls. So he is at this point in time thinking that they are all the bodies, all these people I have to kill. That's not going to be possible for me. Then second reason he gives is enjoyment. Enjoyment. He thinks that if I win the battle and with whom I am going to enjoy the kingdom, if they are all killed, whatever I am going to enjoy will be only tainted with blood only. So I am not going to fight. So first reason what he gave was compassion. Second reason, enjoyment. And third reason, what did he give? Fear of sinful reactions. He thought that, oh my God, I am going to kill all these people, and if I kill all of them, I have to go to hell and suffer for millions of lives for the sin I'll be committing. So Krishna, definitely don't want to commit this great sin. Please. Then fourth reason he gave was destruction of dynasty. Destruction of dynasty. He said that all these great souls who are setting example to the younger generation, if they are killed, the women will become unprotected, by that unwanted progeny will come, then the children that are born to that unwanted, then there will be like unwanted population. Because of that, all the religious prayer, like performing of offering of food and water for the forefathers will all be stopped, and irreligion will become very prominent. I don't want to be the cause of this. And all the family community projects will be devastated, and completely the adharma will reign, So that is why I don't want to be the cause for all this things. So that is one of the reasons he gives. And the last and final is indecision. He doesn't know what to do. So at that stage, now we are going to do the 6th verse, which is... everybody can be ready with the 6th verse. I'll be reading the verse here. Na caitad vidmaḥ kataran no garīyo yadvā jayema yadi vā na jayeyuḥ yaneva hatvā na jijīviṣāmas te vasthitāḥ pramukhe dhārtarāṣṭrāḥ. So now we will read the translation. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Purport.
Hare Krishna, what the word meaning?
What word meaning? Na, nor, cha, also, etat, this, vidmaḥ, do we know, katarat, which, naha, for us, garīyaḥ, better, hatvā, whether, jayema, we may conquer, yadi, if, va, or, naha, us, jayeyuḥ, they conquer, yan, those who, eva, certainly, hatvā, by killing, na, never, jijīviṣāmaḥ, we would want to live, te, all of them, avasthitāḥ, are situated, pramukhe, in the front, dhārtarāṣṭrāḥ, the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Purport by His Divine Grace. Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of the Kshatriyas, or whether he should refrain and live by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence, nor was there certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious. Even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified, still, if the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra died in battle, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of the Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in the royal household, is another sign of detachment. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities combined with his faith in the words of instructions of Sri Krishna, his spiritual master, indicate. It is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all these attributes, over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare. So here, like the very first reason Arjuna gives about the compassion, so Krishna is completely dispelling him from that doubt that Arjuna is thinking all the people assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra as they are their bodies. So in the very first purport, Prabhupada says that very important, second chapter, very first verse. So here it said that seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana Krishna spoke the following words. Material compassion, lamentation and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. So no one knows where to apply this compassion. So compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. a person is drowning in ignorance, just by rescuing his outward dress is senseless. So similarly, those who cry for this external material body, they are compared to Shudras. That's what here Prabhupada says. This chapter instructs us in self-realization. He says that here, those who know one who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called a Shudra. So, Arjuna is coming from a very high, great family who is supposed to know, he's called an Aryan. Who is Aryan? Aryan is a person who knows the value of life based on self-realization. So, such people, they are completely knowledgeable about this. So, Arjuna being a Kshatriya, so his duty is to fight. He should not refrain from fighting. But here Arjuna is he's more acting like a Brahmana. So that's why in one of the purports Prabhupada says that Brahmana should act like a Brahmana, otherwise he is Brahmana in name only. A Kshatriya should act like a Kshatriya, otherwise he is Kshatriya in a name only. So Arjuna, although he is born as a Kshatriya, he is refraining from fighting. So Krishna, on the basis that he is very compassionate, so Krishna is very nicely giving this fundamental knowledge to Arjuna that you are not this body, you are the eternal spirit soul. For the soul there is no death, only the death is only for the body. Body is anyway going to die. Krishna says that jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mritasya cha tasmada pariharyethe natvam shochitamarhasi. One who has taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. So here, Prabhupada is saying that material compassion, lamentation and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. So, Krishna is addressed here as Madhusudana. Why is he called Madhusudana? He killed the demon called Madhu. And here, Arjuna wants to kill the doubt that is stopping him from fighting. So, Krishna is going to now dispel this doubt of Arjuna, because Arjuna's doubts continue. Of course, in the first chapter he gave 5 reasons desiring not to fight, and his doubts are continuing in the second chapter also. But at this point in time, the 6th verse, that we are doing indecision, he doesn't know now what to do. That's why Prabhupada says in this purport, 7th purport, that all these material activities are full of perplexities at every stage. We are complete always with so many perplexities. So it behooves one to approach a spiritual master. So that is why here Arjuna, even though he gave logical reasons, moral reasons, ethical reasons, religious reasons, that should not have caused him confusion. Finally, Arjuna is now confused. Nor do we know which is better, being conquered them, or that's what he says in the 6th verse. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. So even though he gave the logical reasons, religious reasons, moral reasons, everything very nice, no ordinary person can talk like the reasons that Arjuna gave here. Very, very valid reasons is giving, like, religious reasons. How can, when the elders in the family who are going to set example for the youngsters, if they are all killed, who is going to show the right, guide the youngsters, Today that is the whole world is going like that. Nobody wants to take guidance from anyone. Everyone knows everything. So that is why, so Arjuna is telling that if all these elders are killed, then so everything that he's saying is very good. The women need protection at every stage. Then otherwise Varna Sankara, the unscrupulous men take advantage of the single women, and then the children that are born with that mix are unwanted children. And according to Varnashrama principles, periodically the food and water has to be offered, by offering to the Vishnu. Otherwise, the forefathers, they won't even get gross material body. They'll be hovering as ghosts. That is the very important that the younger generation they do, unless they are the they are the devotees of Krishna. Otherwise, they have to do all this periodical offering of food and water to the ancestors like that. So like this, everything, but still this has caused a great confusion to Arjuna, and at that stage, he doesn't know what to do. He is surrendered to Krishna. Karpanya doshopahatas. Of course, it's a tomorrow verse. Karpanya doshopahatasva bhavaha pruchhami tvam dharma sammudha chetaha yakshreyasyam nishchitam bruhi tanme shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure due to miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. Arjuna surrendered to Krishna. So Krishna is thinking, wait, so far Arjuna gave all these reasons: compassion, enjoyment, sphere of sinful reactions, the destruction of dynasty and indecision. Now surrendering to me. So Krishna is now very much surprised. Oh, you are talking like big Pandit now, and now you are surrendering to me? So first Krishna smiled. Tamuvacha rishikesha prahasan niva bharata senayor bhayor madhye vishidantam midam vachaha. Krishna was smiling, and that smile became grave expression like a guru. Guru means heavy, not light. Guru means heavy. Now Krishna is taking the position. So far they were like friendship. Now when Arjuna surrendered, it became like this. Who is this?
Krishna.
And who is this? Arjuna. Krishna became guru and Arjuna became disciple. So far what rasa was going on? Sakhya rasa was going on. Friendship, they both were friends. Now what relationship it changed to? Guru Shishya. So what rasa is that? No. It's Vatsalya Rasa. The relationship between the Guru and disciple is like a father and son, like Vatsalya. So Vatsalya. So they both were like friendship, and when he surrendered, it became like that. Krishna became Guru and Arjuna became disciple. He is ready to hear from Krishna, hear Krishna's instructions. And Krishna first he smiled. Arjuna, you spoke all these things. Now you are surrendering to me. Become very serious now. Guru, heavy. Started to teach to Krishna, teach to Arjuna. Then the rasa changed to Vatsalya. Krishna became Guru now. Arjuna is ready to take instruction. So first thing when we go to school, we learn A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So Krishna, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Ashocyanan Vashochastvam Pragna. A. It started with A. Bhagavad-Gita. A. Ashocyanan Vashochastvam Pragnavadamscha Bhashase Gata Sunna Gata Samscha Nanushocanti Pandita. So while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are not this body, you are the soul. Soul can never be killed, body can never be saved. Of course, body undergoes 6 types of changes. It takes birth from the womb of the mother, it stays, it grows, it reproduces, it dwindles and it vanishes. But for the soul, it remains, even though the body is growing, the soul remains the same. Only time it changes enters another body. So all this very important fundamental knowledge Krishna is going to give from verses 11 to 30, that what is our true identity. That is why Krishna is in the very beginning telling, unless we understand who we are, we cannot understand the further chapters of Bhagavad-Gita, because this is a fundamental knowledge to understand what is our true identity. Because spiritual life begins when we understand who we are spirit, we are not matter. this matter is very it has no life at all. It's a complete dead matter. This body, I am able to talk and able to move everything, is because the soul's presence that is causing, that is giving that consciousness to the body, that I am able to talk and move and all that. But once the soul leaves, the body is dead matter. So Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are now don't want to kill all these people. Do you think that if you don't kill, they are going to live forever? Anyway, the body has to finish. Actually, guess what? You have to rejoice when this Bhishma, Drona and all they'll die, because they are now old. Vasam shijirnani yatha vihaya navani grahanati naroparani tatha sharirani vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. As the person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new bodies, giving up the old and useless ones. When our clothes become old, we throw, we don't cry, right? Because it's old and we wear new clothes. So similarly, the body is only just like a dress for the soul. The soul is eternal. Soul can never be cut to. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, na chainam kledayantyapo, na shoshayati marutaha. For the soul, the soul can never be cut to pieces by any weapon, burned by fire, nor moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. So this is the fundamental knowledge Krishna is giving in this. No university in the world will give this knowledge. Very, very important. So unless we understand what is our true identity, it's very hard for us to understand the further chapters. Krishna could have talked about this body, soul in the 6th chapter or 9th chapter or 14th chapter, but he did not do that. He first enlightened Arjuna, because Arjuna was hesitating to fight because he was very compassionate. So Krishna is telling here that Krishna is countering that argument of Arjuna of this compassion, that you are not the body. He is countering that first argument of Arjuna, that compassion. So you are not the body, you are eternal soul. For the soul there is neither birth nor death. Nainam na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul there is neither birth nor death at any time. He has not come into being, will not come into being. He is ever existing, primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. So for the soul there is no death at all. So what you are killing, actually you have to rejoice, because this Drona, Bhishma and all, they are going to change their bodies and they are going to get new bodies. But Krishna is telling, no, I am related with this particular body of these great souls. But still Krishna says that Matra sparshastu kaunteya sitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama paino nityastam stitikshasva bharata. The non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception or sign of Bharata. Therefore, one must tolerate this Sukha, Dukkha, Sita, Ushna. Like the summer, now currently we have winter season going on. That's not going to be permanent. Very soon the summer will begin. And that is not going to be permanent either. They come and go. Just like similarly, the happiness and distress, they come and go. You have to learn to tolerate. Because when we tolerate, like Prabhupada tells in the purport of that verse, that in the hottest summer, like 45 degrees or 48 degrees, women should not think that, oh, it's too hot and go and sleep. But still, they have to get up and do their duty of cooking. Even if it is very hot, they have to still there carry on, because that is where the knowledge, one comes to the platform of knowledge. We have to learn to tolerate these onslaughts. They are temporary in nature. And also Prabhupada says that in the very cold, like December or January, it's very, very cold. But still one should not think, oh, it's too cold, I'm going to sleep. No. Still one has to wake up and come for Mangalarti, or even at home, wake up and do Mangalarti and do chanting the holy names. All these things still we have to carry. Then one can come to the platform of knowledge. Without knowledge, there is no liberation. So that's why one has to understand. So here Arjuna's fifth reason that he is giving in indecision, he doesn't know what to do at that time. That's what in the seventh purport it says that by nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity at every stage. So it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master. So in the morning we sing, this material world is like a blazing fire of material existence. So that is why in the morning Mangalarti we sing, Samsara dava nalalida loka tranaya karanya gana gana tvam praptasya kalyana gunanavasya vande guru sri charanaravindam. So spiritual masters, mercy is showering so that it puts the extinguishes the fire of the life of the disciples like that. So that is why this Guru's mercy is very, very important. So this, like for example, if this house is burning, will I aram se sit like this? What do we need to do? We have to run and go outside to save ourselves, right? Similarly, this material world is like a blazing fire of material existence. So we should not like think, oh, I'll do it, it's aram se. No, it's not like that. There's no time. We have to every minute constantly be very much aware of the time factor and do the best. Getting the human form of life is very, very rare. Prahlad Maharaj is saying in Bhagavatam, Kaumara acharet pragno dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapya dhruvamarthadam. Kaumara acharet. When should we begin spiritual life? Kaumara. From the tender age of childhood, not when we are ripe old. Kaumara acharet pragno dharman bhagavataniha. We have to do devotional service from the tender age of childhood. Why it's very important? Durlabham manusham janma. Getting human form of life is very, very rare. This soul that is within our body has transmigrated into 8,400,000 species of life and finally enters into the human form of life. And we don't know how long it lasts. Like if we are renting an apartment, when the owner says, come on, vacate, can we say, no, I will stay here? He'll tell, come on, notice is given. So similarly, we don't know how long we are going to live in this body. So to make the best use of this, every moment is very, very precious. Chanakya Pandit says that even a moment lost cannot be purchased by millions of gold coins like that. So every moment, time is tick, 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 tick going. Bhagavatam says, Ayur harati vaipumsham udhyanastan chayanasav tasyate yakcharonita uttama sloka vartaya. In the morning what happens? The sun rises. And in the evening, sun sets. How is that affecting us? One day in our life, we are going closer to death, right? So, but for the people who are eternally engaged in Krishna's consciousness, in Krishna's pure devotional service, for them, that time doesn't exert its influence on such people. For all others, the time factor is devouring, every, we are being, Krishna says in 10th chapter again, Mritya sarvaharaschaham udbhavascha bhavishyata. I am the all-devouring death. And Krishna also says in 11th chapter of Gita, Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravruddho lokan samahart. Time, I am the great destroyer of the worlds. In the form of time, I come and take away everything. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. So that is why we have to understand our very precarious condition. We are actually don't belong to this material world at all. We are from the spiritual world. We don't belong to this. We are like a fish out of water. We try to the main problem is this skin disease. We have this material body misidentification with this matter. That is the big problem. We are actually the soul. We have nothing to do with this matter. But only because of this misidentification, we have been transmigrating into different bodies. So, but only way to cut this repeated cycle of birth and death is bhakti-yoga. That is the only. Arjuna also asks in the 14th chapter to Krishna the 3 modes of material nature, how to transcend these modes. Krishna says, Mam chayo vyabhicārena bhakti-yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhūyāya kalpate. One has to do devotional, unfailing devotional service under all circumstances, then transcend the modes of material nature. Otherwise, we go on and we never know next life what we are going to get even. But Krishna guarantees in the 2nd chapter of Gita, Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In this endeavor there is no loss or diminution. Even a little advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is that most dangerous type of fear?
Fear of death.
Of course, death is there. What is the most dangerous type of fear? Yes, Prabhuji? Yeah, rebirth is there. Going into the lower species of life. We may lose this human form of life. Krishna says in 14th chapter again, Urdhvam gacchanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganna guna vrittistha adho gacchanti tamasa. Those who die in the mode of goodness, they go to the higher planets. Those who die in the mode of passion, they live on the earthly planets. Those who die in the abominable mode of ignorance, go down to the hellish worlds, go down to the animal kingdom. So, this is a golden opportunity to get a human form of life. And Prahlad is saying that Durlabham Manusham Janma. Durlabham, very rare. After so much transmigrating in different bodies, the soul enters the human form of life, which is very, very precious. And we don't know, like we are like a bubble on a water. Anytime it may pop like that. That is our condition. Like, Bhagavatam says that Samashrita ye pada pallava plavam mahat padam punya esho murare bhavambudir vatsapadam padam padam vet vipadam na tesham. This material world, at every step there is danger. We may be flying, the flight can get crash, or now we are seeing the whole world. We went through so much crisis of this COVID. How much everyone, we can't even breathe all the time. We have to wear mask, How unfortunate situation. And so many people unfortunately died because of this COVID, and untimely death happened. So unfortunate situation. So especially this Kali Yuga is the worst of all. And how we don't know, still 5,000 years we are seeing all this, so many things, and so much time to still go. We don't know what else is in store. So only ways, especially in Kali Yuga, Kaler doshani dhera jannasti hai eko mahan guna kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. Chanting the holy name of Krishna. And also Krishna says that when Krishna departed to his own abode, at the end of Dwapara Yuga, after he performed pastimes, he went to his own abode. That time, of course, in the very first canto, first chapter, the sages, they asked this question. After Krishna went to his own abode, where does the religious principles take shelter? Then it says that it is said that Krishne swadhamo pagate dharmajnanadibhisaha kalau nashta drishamesha puranarko dunoditaha. So Krishna went to his abode. Krishna went to his own abode. Along with him he took dharma and jnana. Immediately the Kali Yuga came. Then how do we get that light in the age of Kali Yuga? Bhagavatam has arisen into the horizon to dissipate the darkness of this age of Kali. So Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita are like the torch bearers in this age of Kali. Like when we go in the night at 12 o'clock, no electric lights or anything, how do we find the way? We take torch, right? This Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-Gita are like torch bearers in this age of Kali to go back home, back to Godhead. So it's very important to take shelter of these two great literatures, Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam. So that in Bhagavatam, in every page, Krishna is personally present. We take shelter of Bhagavatam, then we can feel Krishna's presence at every. And Prabhupada has very mercifully, he has slept 2 hours and has written all the purports. Today we are everything ready. We all just need to open the book and read, that's all. So we are very, very fortunate, and we can, even though the whole world went into so much crisis, but the devotees weren't disturbed at all, because we have the holy name, we have the scripture, we have, even though we were we couldn't go out, we read Bhagavatam, we took shelter of Bhagavad-Gita, we chanted the holy name of Krishna. So we are constantly in Krishna's shelter of his lotus feet, and the scriptures and Guru, Shastra and all these things, and whole world so much preaching happened. So we are very, very fortunate in that way. So I conclude here. Thank you all very much for all your listening to very patiently. Anyone has any questions, if I can answer, or there are other senior devotees who can answer also.
This Kaliyuga is best because Prabhupada advocated
Yes,
in this Kaliyuga.
excellent. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared and he inaugurated the Sankirtan movement. Very, very fortunate. This Kaliyuga is very special actually. He appeared and he distributed the holy name freely. Krishna prema pradhayate. Even to Patit Pavan. Very, very fortunate.
No questions asked. No questions asked. Just take it.
Excellent, very good. So,
There is one small one.
yes, Prabhuji.
The encounter. This encounter to the Arjuna. Whether this sense can sense, this convince. Encounter to convince.
Correct. So that's why Krishna is called Madhusudana. He how he killed the demon Madhu. Now he is going to kill the demon of misunderstanding that is stopping him from doing Kshatriya Dharma like that. So very good that Krishna is very mercifully fortunate, Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna. The thing is we can give the one example of in a battlefield, the general will tell all the army people, go and kill all these people and come, and they go and they do their duty, what they were ordered, and then they come back and they are given Bharat Ratna award. But that same people going on the road, somebody they don't like, if they kill them, they are thrown in the jail. Here award is given, they are sent to jail. So what is the difference between here and there?
Sanction of the competent authority.
Yes. So, because the commander ordered these army people to go and kill, they acted under the authority, they were awarded. But here, whimsical action, somebody they didn't like, just kill, thrown in the jail. So here, why did I tell this? Because Arjuna is telling his fear of sinful reactions, he's thinking he is the doer. So, but Krishna is telling you do this. I am telling you to do. So then, no karma. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyamimaschaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. What is our duty? Abandon all religion and surrender to Krishna. That is our duty. What is Krishna's duty? I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Arjuna is worrying, if I kill all these people, I have to go to hell and suffer for so many millions of lives. Krishna is telling, no, I am telling, like the commander in the battlefield told, you kill all these people and come, award. So Krishna is telling, I am telling you, do not fear. Sarva dharman parityaja, mamekam sharanam raja, aham tvam sarva papebhyo. I shall deliver you. You do not worry. You just surrender to me. That's all we need to do. We don't have to worry about our sinful reaction, nothing. Krishna will take care of all that. We just have to surrender to Krishna. So that is why he is telling Arjuna. So Arjuna don't have to worry. Krishna is telling, you do it. So Krishna, actually what happened in 11th chapter, very interesting, in universal form, that chapter, Arjuna requested Krishna to show the universal form. But Arjuna cannot see without his divine vision. So Krishna gave him this divine vision to see that. And then when Arjuna was seeing, he saw so many things he saw. It was so many rasas changed. First he was like Dasya, Sakya, Bhayanaka, fearful, wonder, Adbhuta. All these different rasas change. At one point Arjuna is seeing so many, all these warriors rushing into the mouth of Krishna and all they are being smashed between the teeth. And is thinking, what is this? Very fearful. Who are you? What is your mission? He's asking. Krishna says that Kalosmi lokakshaya krit pravruddho lokan samahartam iha pravruttah ritepi tvam na bhavishyanti sarve ye vasthitāḥ pratyanikeshu yodha. You just like, Kala, time, I am the great destroyer of the worlds. I kill everyone except you, Pandavas, everyone will be slain. And then he says that Tasmat tvamuttishta yasho labhasva jitva shatrum bhungsva rajam samruddham maya vaite nihita purvameva nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Just be my instrument, that's all. I have done everything for you. You don't have to worry. Everybody is already killed. By my arrangement, everybody is killed. You just, because Krishna wants to give credit and fame to Arjuna, so you just be an instrument. Tasmat, he is saying that nimitta matram bhava savyasachin. Then that time Arjuna is convinced, oh my God, till now I thought I was going to be the killer. Krishna is already killed. What am I going to do? I better fight now as a devotional offering. Like doing an arti in the altar is the same as fighting on the battlefield under the order of Krishna. There is no difference. This is also devotional offering. That is also devotional offering. So Arjuna is convinced, oh my God, I thought I was going to be the killer, but if Krishna has already done, what am I going to do? At least I might as well listen to Krishna and do this fighting, as a devotional offering. So that's how Arjuna is like. And finally also, even though Krishna gave the entire Gita instructions, at the very end, Krishna did not keep a gun at Arjuna's head and tell that, now you have to listen to me. He said that, whatever I had to tell, I have told you everything, Arjuna. Now, you do what you want to do. Then what did Arjuna tell? Karishye vachanam tava. I will act according to you. Nashto moha smritir labdha tvat prasadan mayachyuta stitosme gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Now all my illusions, doubts are completely dispelled. Now I'll do as per your instruction, like that. So this is what Krishna never, even though he gave the entire Gita Upanishad, the Gita Upanishad to Arjuna, but he never forced Arjuna. Whatever I had to tell, I have told you everything. Now you do what you want to do. Then Arjuna said that. So Arjuna was acting under false ego. Prakrite kriyamanani gunaikarmani sarvashaha ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The spirit soul, bewildered by the influence of false ego, thinks himself the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by the modes of material nature. He is thinking that he is the doer. So now he is understanding that Krishna is actually the doer. So what is there for me to do now? All my illusions, everything has been dispelled. And yatra yogeshwara Krishna, yatra partho dhanurdaraha, tatra shri vijayo bhutir, dhruvani tirmatir mama. Wherever the supreme archer and wherever this yogeshwara Krishna is there certainly will be victory, opulence, morality and extraordinary power. All these things are definitely there. So that's how in the excellent Krishna has so nicely spoken the entire Gita, and he has kept this rahasya, bhakti in the middle. Because it is very, like for example in India, suddenly we see in Delhi or in any major cities, they start to clean and the whole city, and they start to put all the plants, flower plants, and they'll decorate everything. Then hang on, what is this? It was all dirty, all of a sudden everything is getting clean, they're putting all this flower plants, beautifying everything. That means maybe some great personality, prime minister or somebody is coming like that. Then what happens? Then really everybody is waiting. Then they will hear, oh, some great personality is coming. Then what will happen? Then everybody will be waiting queue this side and that side. What will happen? First they will see a lot of security, So many cars will go. Then in the middle, the real, that prime minister or whoever. And again at the end, there's again there's a security. So what does that mean? The beginning is all these people, security, and in the middle, the real important person. And again, the security means this why I'm telling all this is because the first 6 chapter is like karma yoga, and the last 6 chapter jnana yoga. In the middle, there is bhakti yoga. It is very nicely protected from both the sides, like because the most confidential knowledge. Of course, in the middle 6 chapters, the 9th chapter is the most confidential knowledge, and the last 8 verses are the most confidential knowledge. And among all that, the last verse, does anyone know which is that last verse? Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi yuktvaevam atmana matparayana. This verse is so important that it is again repeated in the 18th chapter again. Krishna says 4 things. I'll tell this and I'll conclude. 4 things Krishna tells in this verse, which is very important. What are those 4 things? Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Number 1. Number 2, become my devotee. Number 3, offer obeisances to me. Number 4, worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me. There is no doubt about it. Surely you will come to me. So what is the doubt for us? Just we need to do these 4 things. Engaging our mind always in thinking of me. Like how Ambarish Maharaj, Savai Manaha Krishna Padara Vindayor, Chamshi Vaikunta Gunan Varnane, Karo Harer, Mandira Marjanadishu, Shrutim Chakarachita Satkatodaye, Mukunda Lingalaya Darshane Drisha, Tadbrutya Gatra, Sparshenga Sangamam, Granam Chatatpada Saroja Saurabe, Srimat Tulasya Rasanam Tadarpite, Pado Hare Kshetra Padanu Sarpane, Rishi, Shiro Rishi Kesha Padabi Vandane, Kamam Chadase, Natukama Kame, Ethottama Shloka, Janashaya Ratihi. Like that, Ambarish Maharaj engaged every one of his senses in the service of the master of the senses. Like that, we have to engage our mind constantly in thinking of Krishna and become his devotee, offer obeisances to him and worship him. By doing these 4 things, Krishna is guaranteeing the most confidential knowledge, surely will come to me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely will come to me. Very, very good how Krishna is giving this knowledge to us. We are very, very fortunate. Let's take this human form of life, which is very rarely attained, to make the best use of this. And whatever little time is left, Prahlad Maharaj very nicely explains human form of life, how we spend our 100 years of our human life. First 10 years goes in childhood bewilderment. The next 10 years goes in sporting and playing. And then last 20 goes in old age and invalidity. And he says that every human has a lifetime of 100 years. One who cannot control his senses, in such a person's life, he has life of only 50 years. Where did the other 50 years go? Sleeping. So then he says first 20 in childhood, last 20 in old age, middle 60, in the 30 gone in sleep. In 70 years, if you didn't do, in 30 years, what we can do? Very nice. Money is sweeter than honey. Prahlad says, money is sweeter than honey. He is wasting his valuable human life, but is very cautious about one thing. What is that? Even a single farthing to spend, he is very attentively careful. He is wasting his valuable human form of life, but he is very attentively careful to spend even 1 cent, that it's not being mismanaged. Very beautiful teachings. Prahlad Maharaj says, 6th chapter of the 7th canto, very beautiful teachings. So, endeavors merely for sense gratification are not to be performed. Why? Because it only causes our, endeavors merely for sense gratification are not to be performed because it results only in loss of time and energy with no actual profit. Very beautiful Prahlad teachings, classic. It's really Jeev Jago. Very, very nice.
The morning class with Prahlad chapters are now going.
In the
7th canto is going on.
it's going
Oh, excellent. Very good. Which chapter is going on?
7th chapter.
7th chapter. The child in the womb, like
Canto,
Chapter I don't
he schoolmates instructs his schoolmate, demoniac schoolmates. Thank you all very, very much for your patience and hearing. Yes, Prabhuji.
I can ask?
Yes, if I can answer, I'll answer.
Yeah, you definitely can ask. This Prabhupada said that you should read my books for 2 hours,
Yes.
or someone else said that.
Did anyone else say that?
Srila Prabhupada said that, I'm asking.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So what are the practical steps one can take to read 2 hours every day? I can read a maximum up to 1 hour on an average. Second is you were able to quote quite number of shlokas.
Mhm.
So how to memorize the shlokas nicely? How did you do that?
The main thing is our appreciation for everything that we read. Like, when we, like for example, I read a novel, okay? Novel, just I keep on reading and I don't need to remember or really absorb anything, just as I keep reading. But when we read Shastra, we should read one paragraph and try to understand what, like for example, Arjuna asked so many questions, some questions in Bhagavad-Gita. First, we should not read the question and go on reading the answer, first we have to understand what is the actual question. Let me understand the question first to even know what the answer is. First, let me understand this question. What did Arjuna ask? In 3rd chapter, Arjuna asked, Athakena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anicham api varshneya baladiva niyojitaha. By what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Arjuna asked this question. So we should read that and then try to understand what is said there and try to really absorb and give a thought process on that particular
learn
thing.
Sanskrit. Learn Sanskrit.
Learn Sanskrit and then learn the slokas. Then we ourselves will be very enthused to learn, so that we whatever we learn, we like to share with others. We like to teach others, because like if I have something, all of us, if we have something valuable, we want to share with others as well, right? So that is the mood we learn. Of course, first we have to learn ourselves, then we want to give to others. So that is what Prabhupada wanted us to do. First we learn and then we give others. So that interest, extreme interest, our absorption in learning, that is what, like when we read, we absorb and read. Then that's when we can remember what we have read. Otherwise, like a novel, if you go on reading, at the end, then what did I read? Try to little bit remember. We may remember little bit, but may not be a lot. But when we read more absorbingly and we try to grasp some things, and appreciate what is said, like Prahalad Maharaj, everything that is said, we have high appreciation. Then then that's when we remember. Then everything, like 6th chapter, whatever he said, money is sweeter than honey. Then he says that how a householder, he becomes like a silkworm, like how a silkworm becomes imprisoned in that cocoon without unable to get out of it. Like that householder, how he first gets attracted to his wife, and because she satisfies in a solitary place, she is very attached to him. Because all the pictures of the wife and the children, very small children speaking in a broken language, very attractive to hear. These pictures, he's always remembering them. And then he says the old parents are also very dear to him. And then he says that daughter is very, very dear to the father, because even when she is married, she is sent to her husband's house, still he remembers her, because the daughter is very dear to the father. Then he says that just for the sad, and the household paraphernalia is also very dear, like that very expensive dining table, big couches, very everything. Then just for the satisfaction of 2 important senses, that is genitals and tongue. Just for that, he becomes like an imprisoned, like a silkworm in a cocoon, how it gets imprisoned without unable to get out, just for the satisfaction of these two senses, tongue and genitals, like that. So then he tells that money is sweeter than honey. Even at the risking of his own life, he tries to secure money. Then also he says that how even though he's living the threefold miseries of life, he's suffering from this, still he doesn't have distaste for that type of life, He doesn't develop distaste for living that type of life, but still he's very, very attentive that even a single farthing is not lost by mismanagement. He's wasting his valuable human life, but still is very, very careful in spending that once, whatever he has earned, even to spend 1 rupee, he's thinking so much, I have put so much hard-earned money, like that. But he's wasting his human life. Money is anyway going to go when we die. What did we bring when we came? What we are going to take when we die? We are not going to take anything, but still he is valuing so much. But he is wasting his human form of life, which is rarely attained. Avanti Brahmana story. Avanti Brahmana says, finally he realizes in 11th canto that, oh my God, I got Brahmana life. Taking birth in Bharatvarsha is very, very rare. And I got a Brahmana birth, that's even more rare. I have squandered all in this money in the search of this vain efforts for this money acquiring, and I have wasted my life. And whatever little time is left, now I am going to be very serious, do this. Then finally he gets little impetus from this Khatvanga Maharaj. Khatvanga Maharaj, even the last 1 minute, he perfected. So he got impetus from, if Khatvanga could achieve this great, then maybe I have also some chance. I'll do that. So like that. Very, very interesting. Bhagavatam is such a wonderful literature. Everywhere full of examples for us, life lessons like Pururava, Yayati, all these people, why their stories are there in Bhagavatam? They were so lusty, greedy, and the Avanti Brahmana also so lusty, so greedy, so anger prone. Why these stories are there in Bhagavatam? Because later on they realized what mistake they did, like Saubhari Muni also. In the beginning, he did some offense to this Garuda and all like that. He fell down, he had to marry this 50 daughters of this king. And then again he realized. So that's why these stories are there. They later on realized the mistakes that happened. Pururava also, he sings Aila Gita at the very end. Very beautiful, they realize. So that is why these great stories are there in Bhagavatam. From them we learn. Mistake to err is human. But what we learn from this, their mistakes, from their Vijnān we learn Jnān, and we don't do that mistake again, like that. Very, very beautiful Bhagavatam. We are very, very fortunate to have this Bhagavatam literature. Thank you all very much. Hope it made some sense, that what you said.
One thing I have to say, Prabhupada have written at one place, Manmana Bhavdi, 2 words are the conclusion of all Vedic philosophy.
Yes. Conclusion, everything is there. Sarve Vedaischa sarve rahameva vidya. Everything is there in that. Thank you very much.